In right here at 5 o'clock, a federal court has temporarily blocked an Indiana law banning gender-affirming care for minors who are transgender. The court issued a preliminary injunction blocking the law as a lawsuit goes through the courts. The ACLU of Indiana challenged the law immediately after it was signed on behalf of 4 transgender youth and an Indiana doctor. They argued the ban violates the Constitution's equal protection guarantees and federal laws against medical services. Supporters of the legislation have contended the banned care is irreversible or carries side effects. And we do want to give you a big heads up for I-64 eastbound lanes from downtown to the Waterson will be closing tonight for 2 weeks. It will impact thousands of Jefferson County drivers. Let's send it on over to our meteorologist, Sam Gabrielli, who has some detours you can take.
I'm meteorologist Sam Gabrielli giving you a further update on the 64 eastbound closure. All lanes closed off from the junction to the Waterson Expressway beginning this Friday at 8 p.m. going until July 1st, the morning of July 1st, that is. So there's a couple of detoured routes you could be taking with this closure. The first one, most common route, is taking 71 northbound to the Waterson Expressway and taking that westbound, that is, towards 64, eventually towards the St. Matthews area. You can also hop onto 65 southbound, take that all the way down to I-264 eastbound, otherwise known as the Waterson Expressway, towards the east end of town. You can also, as well, maybe you want to get off the interstate, you can take the exit ramp actually from Broadway in 65. Take Broadway eastbound to Baxter and take Baxter to Bardstown Road and take Bardstown Road trailing all the way down to the south and east. And one more additional detour I want to mention as well. You can hop onto Main Street from downtown Louisville and take that to Frankfort Avenue. Frankfort Avenue eventually turns into Shelbyville Road. So there's a couple of routes you could be taking to avoid this closure along 64 the next 2 weeks.
Good ideas there, Sam. Thank you. Also happening tonight, all eastbound lanes of I-64 and the Sherman-Minton Bridge will be shut down. The lanes will close around 10 tonight and reopen at 5 on Monday. The closures will allow some crews to do some diamond grinding on the bridge and remove temporary support brackets. During the closure, you can take I-265 to I-65. And a reminder for drivers who cross the river often, new toll rates for 3 of the bridges will begin on the start of July. Every year, tolls increase by 2.5%. This year, the increase is going to be 4.9% to account for inflation. A reminder, tolls are cheaper if you have a prepaid Riverlink account and a transponder. That will run $2.52 for an average vehicle. If you don't have a transponder, it could cost you $5 per vehicle. Tolling is in place on the I-65 bridges and on the East End Bridge. A Kentucky woman forced to make an impossible decision is on a mission to let other women know they aren't alone. Earlier this year, Heather Mayberry had to travel out of state to get an abortion because she was told her baby had no chance of living, but Kentucky laws prevented her from getting labor-induced and getting that abortion here. Bobby McSwine actually talked with her today, and Bobby, she told you she's been overwhelmed with support.
Yeah, that's exactly right. She posted her story on social media and did not expect the outpouring of support she received, but she's so glad that she did. And she definitely didn't expect to hear from Kentucky women whose baby received the exact same fatal diagnosis, but they couldn't do anything about it under current state law. Now, Mayberry and her husband, Nick, were expecting their 4th child, but she was diagnosed with anencephaly. It's a serious birth defect in which the brain and skull do not fully develop. Babies with the condition are either stillborn or die within hours of being born. Mayberry says though Willow had a heartbeat, doctors told her she was not alive because there was no brain activity. But under the state's heartbeat law, her options were to carry a fetus declared dead for another 18 weeks or travel out of state. She and Nick chose to travel from Stanton, Kentucky to a clinic in Chicago for an abortion.
After going through everything I went through, I didn't want to be silenced or be quiet. Because other women are not brave enough or too scared or too ashamed.
Now, though Mayberry says she never believed in abortion for herself, she says women should be able to make their own choices about their own bodies. And she says her family continues to give her the strength to share her story, and she'll keep doing so to let other women in Kentucky know that they aren't alone. Shay?
All right, thank you so much, Bobby. We also know she hopes by sharing her story, laws can be changed for future generations. Now to a huge break in a southern Indiana cold case. A teenage boy missing since he went camping with friends in 1971 has been found after 50 years. The 3 friends were students at Browntown Indiana High School. 19-year-old Jerry Autry, a star football player, 17-year-old Stanley Robinson, a member of the school's Christian Standards group, and then 16-year-old Mike Sewell, vice president of his class. All three spent the night in a cabin that caught fire, killing Jerry and Stanley, but Mike's remains were never found. Just last year, a Jackson County detective decided to reopen this case and the search for Mike Sewell. Today, detectives say they have found him. Mike's family finally getting answers more than 50 years later. Alexis Jones and photojournalist Alyssa Newton talked to the family about the development.
Decades ago, loved ones gathered here at Fairview Cemetery to bury the remains of the two boys found in the cabin fire. After searching for Michael Sewell for years, Jackson County Sheriff's Department says he may have been among them all along.
It just didn't seem possible for a 16-year-old to just run away and still be missing after 50-some years.
That's why Lieutenant Adam Nicholson says he teamed up with archaeologists from the University of Indianapolis to find answers. After removing and analyzing remains, experts say they found 3 people inside Jerry Autry and Stanley Robinson's caskets. Archaeologists then tested the bones for DNA. One was a match for Robinson. Linda Pack is sure the third body is her older brother Michael's.
If I never get DNA, I'm happy with what I did get. I mean, it'd be nice if we did sometime. We've not given up on that, but I'm happy with the way it's turned out. So,
Lieutenant Nicholson says they are waiting on new technology to test for more DNA. In southern Indiana, Alexis Jones, WHAS11 on your side.
Multiple agencies were involved in working the 52-year-old cold case, including the Jackson County Coroner's Office, the FBI, the University of Indianapolis, and the Indiana State Police Lab. Today, the Teamsters Union voted to authorize a strike against UPS. The vote was 97% by UPS Teamsters, but that doesn't mean the union is striking right away. Instead, it allows them to call for a strike if they can't come to terms with UPS on a new contract. The Teamsters Union represents more than 340,000 delivery drivers. They've been negotiating a new contract with UPS since April. UPS released a statement in response to the vote saying, authorization votes and approvals are normal steps in labor union negotiations. We continue to make progress on key issues and remain confident that we will reach an agreement that provides wins for our employees, the Teamsters, our company, and our customers. The last time the union went on strike was back in 1997. Giving you a live look outside right now, you can see a little bit of haze still settled over the Ohio River there. Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine has been keeping an eye on it. Ben, any air quality concerns today?
It's not so bad right now. We do have an air quality alert for sensitive groups for tomorrow, though, as the air is going to be kind of stagnant, very light winds out there, and still some of the Canadian wildfire smoke. Typically this time of the year, that haze is from the humidity, but that is not the case. We have some really comfortable conditions out there, and by mid-June standards, it is on the cooler side with temperatures in the 70s in most locations, and as promised, we're more than 5 degrees cooler than yesterday thanks to that dry front that moved through last night and early this morning. Now we have that flow coming in from the north with temperatures as cool as 73 in Madison and Carrollton, also in Mitchell 73, 75 in Corden, and then warming up to the upper 70s and lower 80s over the southern sections of our viewing area. There you see all the sunshine that we have across the area, just a little bit cloudier up to the northeast, but really quiet conditions continue as we head into our Father's Day weekend. 70s this evening. Overnight low temperatures a bit cooler in the 50s and lower 60s, so a nice start to our Saturday, and tomorrow afternoon a little bit warmer in the lower 80s in most spots and mostly sunny as well. A little bit of that haze still out there. Cool and clear tonight. A low temperature 61 in the city, outlying areas, suburbs in the 50s, upper 70s, and mostly sunny at lunchtime tomorrow, and a forecast high of 84 for tomorrow afternoon. We are once again in need of rainfall for our yards. I'll let you know how long that rain chance will hold off coming up in our full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Ben, thank you. Today, a truck delivered fresh fruits and veggies to West Louisville, a part of town deemed a food desert. The community has called for a new grocery store in the area for years, saying there's just not enough options to get fresh produce. Well, today, the African American think tank unveiled a truck that will park at 21st and Broadway, selling fresh fruits and fresh vegetables every day.
Fresh food will lead to better health. We will live longer. The expected life expectancy for residents west of 9th Street we live 12 years shorter than if you lived east of 9th Street.
Starting July 1st, they hope to be selling produce from black farmers. The truck will be selling food from 11 to 6 every day.